friction is an important force in our everyday lives. And in this demonstration, we look at how the value of the coefficient of friction may be measured by the use of some meter sticks. We've arranged one meter stick in the vertical orientation here and two other meter sticks flat on the table. As I raise this one, you can see that a block of aluminium sitting on it is held in place because friction is preventing it slipping. But as I continue to raise the meter stick, the friction force is increasing, and there comes a point where the friction cannot increase sufficiently to hold the block any longer, and eventually slipping occurs. So if we're trying to measure the coefficient of friction, it might be of greater interest to do so between one aluminium block and another, rather than between aluminium and timber. So I'm going to use some sticky tape on this block to fix it to the meter stick and sit the other block on it in a way that it is still free to move. So when I incline the meter stick once more, there comes a point where the upper block will slip relative to the lower block, and at that point we are then interested in taking some measurements. So it seems that the friction is holding it rather well and slipping has occurred at that point. Now the height from here to here needs to be measured, and the distance from here to here measured, and it turns out that that number divided by this number equals the tan of the angle, but also equals the coefficient of friction. We might then consider the fact that in the case of a bicycle, where aluminium is used often in the rim of the bicycle, that rubber is a particularly good material to stop the bicycle. So this is the brake block of a bike sitting on an aluminium block, and if we were to repeat the process of inclining this to see at what stage will slipping occur, then at the point where slipping occurs, the new height divided by the new length gives us a measure of the coefficient of friction between rubber and aluminium. Having determined that, we might be curious to know, well, what is the effect of rain on the effectiveness of the brakes of a bike? So by spraying some water on this and repeating the experiment, we find that there's less friction when the two surfaces are wet than when they are dry. Increased downward pressure will be another way to change the angle at which slipping occurs. So friction is a force that can be investigated in the laboratory with just some meter sticks and some easy measurements.